Good morning. What a joy to be here, to have you here, to have you show up. You changed your clocks. Yeah, this talk has to do about the mind, and I was reading somewhere where there's 25,000 thoughts that run through our mind all the time, and I seem to have been stuck on the one last night that all my clocks were changed except my alarm clock, because that needed to wait until 2 o'clock this morning, and then I needed to plug my phone into it and all this. So all night long, will I wake up? Will I wake up? And then getting ready this morning, I'm thinking, I woke up, and I'm doing my hair, and then I think, oh, this little piece is just not right. Then I go out and the wind goes, and nothing matters. Just show up. That's what it is about being present, right? Just show up, and God bless you all for attending to the world in the way of clocks and time. And so today I'm speaking about the mind, and there's going to be 2 different talks this morning because this is such a huge topic. And I took myself back to my first impression when I was raised a Methodist, and I remember just being leaving church one day and having always told myself, please listen to the sermon. We had the wooden pews, and I used to like to kind of slide back and forth on them and take the little pencil for the offertory and draw on all the envelopes that were in there. Yeah, I put them back. But I told myself, pay attention to the message. What is the message? Why am I even here? And it never kind of clicked in. And then when I would drive home, I would just look up and think, oh, there's God out there somewhere, but I don't know what that God is. And so it's been a lifetime searching, seeking, what is this God? And then I discovered through college a world religions course, and we started studying the Upanishads. As maybe some of you have read that scripture. It's from the Danta teaching, thousands of years old, and predates the Bible and in Christianity. And I have a friend, Dr. Chandramouli, that's a Vedantist, and he brought me back this sweet little book from the temples down in San Francisco. And I had opened it up yesterday, and this is Swami Vivekananda is one of the yogis that brought yoga to America. He had an inspiration during a meditation, a vision, and he followed that dream. And in 1893, he came to America, and he spoke at the World Parliament of Religions. And he just woke up our world to another idea of spirituality. So I found this kind of an interesting talk because it says, more straight talk on religion. You have to realize truth and work it out for yourself, according to your own nature. All must struggle to be individuals, strong, standing on your own feet, thinking your own thoughts, realizing your own self. No use swallowing doctrines others pass on, standing up together like soldiers in jail, sitting down together, all eating the same food, all nodding their heads at the same time. Variation is the sign of life. Sameness is the sign of death. If any of you believes what I teach, I will be sorry. I will only be too glad if I can excite you in the power of thinking for yourself. My ambition is to talk to men and women, not to sheep. Remember this individualism at any cost. Think wrong if you will, no matter whether you get truth or not. The whole point is to discipline the mind. That truth which you swallow from others will not be yours. You cannot teach truth from my mouth, neither can you learn truth from my mouth. None can teach another. Yeah, that is an amen. Because we spend a lifetime going to sanctuaries, going to different spiritual centers, picking up different books. Feed me. And all it points back to, every scripture says, please be present yourself with what is. Just be present with what is yourself and allow the truth to speak through you as you. It can happen no other way. So we're born with this incredible intelligence. And in the world religions, in the Upanishads, the Brahman, it is all that is. And in Science of Mind teaching, we say God is all there is, and then we start trying to name that. And because it's all coming from our individual perspective, we're naming it God, love, mind, conscious mind, subjectivity, and all these big words, trying to name that which is unnameable. It's how we do life, trying to understand and trying to communicate it to one another. Of course we do that. I thought maybe he had something to add. I got off. So the Brahman, this big, vast God is all that there is one love, one mind, one truth. And as you do your study, you start to recognize, yes, there is all this truth. And when you can digest it, when you can take it in, this is what Vivekananda is pointing to, take it in, digest it, and let it come out through you as your truth. And how does it become your truth? You become to live it. You begin to take the principles of a greater good for all, and you begin to live it. Now, what I speak to today is very important at this time in our lifetime, because what we see right now, and I'm not going to speak about politics, but it's showing up in politics, right? It's where suddenly we think, okay, I believe in the greater good of all, and I believe in the good of all people, and then we get potty mouth about different politicians, as if it doesn't count there. I get to join the party and talk dirt. No, none of us, no matter what it is that we see out there, it is an outpicturing of what, as race consciousness, we have all been rolling towards, right? We have to take some ownership of what is going on, and in that ownership, stand up and speak a truth that is filled with love and goodness. To start to see people, to start to see humanity at large as all seeking love, all seeking a higher way of being. So if we as a body of people can leave here this day, if nothing else I say makes any sense, if we can stop ourselves from adding one little snarky remark and just lift it up and just say, no, I'm going to keep holding the vision of a greater good. There's a further part of this Vedanta reading. The only purpose in life is to realize God. And a man can realize his inner self through sincere prayer. And prayer, when you really understand what prayer is, it's a dialogue, it's a communication of your heart to the one heart, the connection to be a conduit of that truth. As May had said last week, let everything have free passage through you. I loved her prayer of forgiveness, for those of you that were here. Let everything have free passage through you. Everything. So when you feel an insult or something and all of a sudden it's stuck in your heart, take a breath and release it, bless it, release it, let it move on. Let it have free passage through your heart. That was a huge moment for me to hear just those few words. And so all this week when I started to feel the stun of what is going around me, I don't linger long in the dialogue with it, but I let it have free passage through me. Bless it, love it, move it, forgive it. And so that's prayer. That's the prayer with the one. That's the sincere dialogue of just speaking that truth. The realization of the self is possible for all without any exception, and God certainly listens to the prayer that is sincere. Know that the mind is at the root of everything, this mind that we have. Sometimes we speak so much about the mind, we think that the mind is the brain. We think it's an organ. When we speak of heart energy, sometimes people think of the heart organ. Mind, heart, this is an energetic field, an intelligence, a field. This is where God dwells and lives. And so we have taken on this garment in this lifetime, and I'll speak to that again later, but it's we've taken this on, but the heart space holds the mind. Awareness is the mind. God is the mind. Love is the mind. So you realize, oh, it's not just that which is synapsing inside of me. The brain is just this beautiful organ developed by the One to help us make order and to create memory and to allow ourselves to function with one another. But the mind is so much greater than that. So the mind is at the root of everything. It is the mind that makes one wise or ignorant, bound or free, holy or wicked. He whose mind is always fixed on God requires no other spiritual exercise. Whew, what a relief when we speak of spiritual practice. Know for yourself. Just go home and keep your mind on God, on the One, on love, whatever your name is for it. Do you know the condition of one who has acquired supreme wisdom? Such a person sees that the all-pervading Spirit, both within and without, he lives it as if it were a room with glass doors. You're just walking around so open. Robin, my friend Robin Backstrom, she's in the practitioner training, and she brought a meditation last week to class, and it was so profound because she placed us in the center of our heart. Being a nurse, I had to be like, okay, we're talking big heart, because we had to get that stretched out and large, and I didn't want us all to leave there with, cardiomyopathy, but she was teaching heart. And so you started sitting, dwelling, and as you can almost feel this yourself in a moment as I call it to you. You feel it. You put yourself in your heart, and you're thinking, it's kind of contracted. I feel this small space. And she pushed the walls forward, front heart. She pushed the walls back, heart, out to the side, up above, down below, until those of us that were there were just this vast space of heart. And I took that to my chair yoga class the next day to the community. And I said, stretch your heart. And the man came to me the next day and he goes, my heart's so big, I can't get it back down. And I said, so be it. So be it. Live in the room with glass doors. So this Brahman, this infinite, transcendent, divine reality, beyond space and time, beyond all concept, beyond all definition, it's beyond even the idea of personality. So Brahman, no quality, or we cannot put a face. I remember my God, as a Methodist, never had a head. I got to a beard idea of him, but he never had a head. I kept thinking, well, what's he going to look like if I won't ever know what he looks like? And as a little child, I struggled with that because I could see this. He was big and white and robes and a beard, no head. Excuse me. So the Atman, though, this is what the Upanishads brought to my attention. Sorry for my... Instead of breathe with me, drink with me. Don't you wish you had some water? The Atman. The Atman is the other idea. We talk about the big self and the small self, right? The small self is that little personality that does the little snippets like, I'm so spiritual, but I just want to say one really bad thing right now, and then I'll go back to being spiritual. So the Atman is the self, the true spiritual self. It's the big self. It's the pure consciousness by nature, beyond body and mind, but witness of both. It's beyond body and mind, but it's always that true witness inside of you. The self is the luminous subject that illumines all experience. Now, I know because you're here, I know you, many of you, so personally that this is your walk in life. I know from my friend Joanne, this spirit of her grows huge when she takes her walk, her hike out into the mountains and into the woods. There God becomes all that there is. And her small self is gone completely, and her huge self is just reveling in the light and the spirit. So Upanishads brings me to the religious science concept of self, small self, and big self, and thought. What is this thought that we're having? All these thoughts keep me from my big self because they're in the way. Science of Mind says we use the creative power of the universal mind every time we use our mind. So there's this universal mind, this God self, and we're using our mind, that is, we're in the likeness of the one, so we use this mind, and we recognize the trained thought is far more powerful than untrained. That's a quote in your program as well, but that's very powerful. Your trained thought is far more powerful than untrained. And the one who gives conscious power to their thoughts should be more careful what they think than the one who does not. So once you develop the power, once you know that this power surge, this power, this spirit dwells within you as you, watch it. Watch your words. You can be filled with positivity, and you could just praise all that there is. But the poison is that one negative thought. It taints everything. So watch your words, watch your thoughts in that way. I remember in college, I had a professor for anatomy. His name was Professor Boring. Go figure. And he was kind of this little kind of nondescript, kind of pale, faded man. And he told me one day, he pulled me aside and he goes, "You're only using a part of your potential." And I graduated from high school thinking I knew it all. I remember getting to the diploma and thinking, well, now what? Pretty much know it all. What else is there? Okay, I'll go to college. But so he says this to me, and I remember, you know how some things are told to you and they're planted and you can't forget about it? Well, what is my potential then? If I'm only using just a small bit, what is the fullness? And that is the fullness of big self. When I step into that big self, I'm using it all. I'm not just using the smallness. Christian Larson, he wrote a wonderful book that Reverend David gave Charlie and I at Christmas, and he talks about, behind all that there is, we've heard of this principle, I am. The I am is the doer, the big I am. The I am is that which directs the mind. The power of the mind directs everything else in the human system. Mind is the throne, and the I am is behind the throne. It's awareness. What I'm pointing to is awareness, right? Is your awareness. Feel it inside yourself. Remember, I don't want to be speaking to sheep. I don't want you going, bah, 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 back at me here. I want you to realize, the awareness. Because I love this thought. We can feel all the thoughts, but I'm thinking them. I can't stop them. No. You're not the thought. You're behind that. You are the awareness that is aware of the thought. You are the self that is aware of the thought. So you're behind the throne of the mind and the thought. Wow. Yeah, Brahman, Atman, yeah, it's coming together. Okay, so the power of the mind includes the power of your will, desire, feeling, thought. It includes consciousness and unconscious, or conscious mind, that which we speak from, we think from, we're real directed from, we speak our treatments from that, and then we've got that underlying unconscious thought, right? That is our layer of belief system. It is our memory bank. It is imprinted upon by race consciousness, by global consciousness, by things that sometimes we're not even responsible for. So this being spiritual takes a very diligent self to pay attention to it all the time. And the conscious mind can override those unconscious thoughts, but it takes you to pay attention to where your triggers are. The unconscious will reveal itself through your triggers and through your dreams. So, inspire your mind. What do you want? What do you want? Why are you here? Oh, me? Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. No, you're here. You're here because there's something driving you, right? There's something that says, I want to know God in this lifetime. I want to know this big self. I want to know that big heart. That I want to go see Robin and have her make my heart real big. So you can't be wish-washy or vague in this idea. Once you have a clue about what the mind is, don't be wish-washy or vague. Don't scatter its force around. Stay so principled and so directed and so empowered that your thoughts, that your presence, when we say, I don't know what my purpose is, your purpose is to direct this mind for a greater good for all. The two great commandments is to love God with all your might and all your soul. That just makes your heart grow really big. And then what else is the second? Oh, to love another as I would myself, and to serve that other as I would serve myself. But I don't think that much of myself. You must stop that, because that's the poison. Because this witness, this self, this tender, true self was born in you. And it's longing to be expressed. It's longing to share love. It's longing to bring humanity together into that knowing. So as the reading that Damien so beautifully read, water has this same force like spirit, and it can gather this force. Once you start to direct it, it gathers this force. And it has a deep desire to become something great. Now, the topic has to do with changing the world, it's a world that works for all, right? This mind, how will my mind work for all? Well, first of all, we start to watch where we're dividing ourselves off. And the way it is in the world, we do become man, woman, Democrat, Republican, liberal, socialist, whatever. We start to divide. We become categories. Those are all made up. Beyond that, strip it away. See only one. See only one. Allow yourself to continue to feed your heart. There's only one. There's only one here. And that is love. That is love. And if we can do that, we take that force and we just move through with love. And it's powerful. It changes all that's around us. So I speak today of Viktor Frankl. You guys know him? Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. And he was in the prison camps. Now you talk about seeing the worst of worst circumstances, right? Having to survive that in those prison camps back and then. So everything can be taken from man, but one thing, he says, the last of the human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. You have a choice. You have a choice. So let me read you this excerpt that the Center for Spiritual Living had invited us to speak to. He discovered this importance in all forms. And, except for his sister, everyone in his immediate family, including his wife, had died in these camps. So you'd think that by then you would be broken, but not Viktor Frankl. He showed us something that is in all of us. We stumbled on in the darkness, over big stones and through large puddles, along the one road leading from the camp. The accompanying guards kept shouting at us and driving us with the butts of their rifles. Anyone with very sore feet supported himself on his neighbor's arm. Hardly a word was spoken. The icy wind did not encourage talk. Hiding his mouth behind his upturned collar, the man marching next to me whispered suddenly, "If our wives could just see us now." I do hope they are better off in their camps and don't know what's happening to us. So that brought thoughts of my own wife to mind. And as we stumbled on for miles, slipping on icy spots, supporting each other time and again, dragging one another up and onward, nothing was said, but we both knew each of us was thinking of his wife. Occasionally I would look up at the sky where the stars were fading and the pink light of the morning was beginning to spread behind the dark bank of clouds. But my mind clung to my wife's image, imagining it with an uncanny acuteness. I heard her answering me. I saw her smile, her frank and encouraging look. You see, what he was tapping into was love. It was directing him. Real or not, her look was then more luminous than the sun, which was beginning to rise. A thought transfixed me. For the first time in my life, I saw the truth, as it's set into song by so many poets, proclaimed as the final wisdom by so many thinkers, the truth, that love is the ultimate and the highest goal to which man can aspire. Then I grasped the meaning, the greatest secret that human poetry and human thought and belief have ever had to impart. The salvation of man is through love and in love. I understood now how a man who has nothing left in this world still may know bliss, be it only for a brief moment in the contemplation of his beloved. In a position of utter desolation, when man cannot express himself in positive action, when his only achievement may consist in enduring his sufferings in the right way and an honorable way, in such a position, man can, through loving concentration and contemplation of the image he carries of his beloved, achieve fulfillment. For the first time in my life, I was able to understand the meaning of the words, "The angels are lost in perpetual contemplation of an infinite glory." Where is your contemplation of an infinite glory? Roy and Diana just have a brand new grandson. Infinite glory. That love cannot be contained. Looking upon the baby, watching Christian and Kelly Rizzi hold their baby up to all of us to bless and to love. Our hearts just open wide. You all experience that. We can't deny that this love exists. So he was often saying that even though the narrow boundaries of the concentration camps, he found that only two races of people seem to exist, decent and then unprincipled ones. These are found in all classes. We're not going to be changing all of this. All we can change is our own self. And when we change our own self and we are directed on a course of love, what we will see and recognize in the other is that love. Can you do that? Yeah, you can do that. Yes, you can do that. So we're not going to turn this power over to others. We're not going to wait around and wait to be loved by other people. We're just going to work from this moment forward to look at spiritual truth, to take our walks, and to quietly listen to that silent witness within. It is right there with you. Behind every thought, this love is beating behind your heart, asking, my beloved, turn to the sunset. Turn to the sunrise. For me, it's like, get up, look at the sunrise. I'm thinking, rawr, rawr, rawr. But when I look at the sunrise, the glory, doesn't it just change your world? Isn't that what you want? That's why you're here today, to walk in love, to be in this love. So you're making yourself better. And you're starting to realize, well, by doing this, you start to control all the circumstances around you. Because there's a force within you that is greater than anything you see outside of you. This force of love is so much greater. But watch the poison when you start to doubt it. If your faith starts to dwindle, that out there seems to be more powerful, more real, and you need to rise up against it. You rise up with this power of love that every spiritual truth speaks to. We're not trying to control others. We're just trying to, within our own selves, avoid any kind of anger. When it rises in itself, be present with it. Just be present with it and let it be. Really? That's all? Yeah, it's just anger. Let it be. Feel it, know it, be greater than it. Just let it be. Anger, malice, envy, those moments of envy and jealousy. Sometimes when I get envious or jealous, I can see it. It turns really ugly inside of me, and it's real quick. And I'm thinking, oh, there's that. That's not the person. It's not their fault they're doing so great and they look good and their body's what I want. That's jealousy and envy. And so you choose, I love that that person is so self-directed in their life that they've been able to achieve that. They can, I can. I love them, I love myself. I love myself that much. Discouragement, revenge, disappointment, worry, fear. I'm just trying to name some that you might be crop up for you sometimes. But don't resist. That's what I'm just trying to say. Don't resist what's going on. Don't resist it. Don't try to get even. Just keep your mind on the good. Keep your mind on the good. Keep your mind on the God. Keep your mind on love. And see it in all those beings. So James Allen, he was a scholar from 1902. He says, mind is the master. Mind is the master and power that molds and makes. Man is mind, and evermore he takes the tools of thought, and shaping what he wills, brings forth 1,000 joys or 1,000 ills. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking glass. So, all that is in your world, environment, all that's in your world, it is the looking glass of your own mind. Oh, seriously? Yeah, that's why they say go declutter things, right? Make room for this love, this thought power. One of the Proverbs says one of the great forces of the universe is this thought. It's one of the greatest powers. As a man thinketh in his heart, right? So he is. So spend just a moment as you breathe into your own heart space and feeling the heart stretching into all the walls of space, in and around and out through this room. And you realize, as I think, so be my heart. As I think, so be my heart. This heart, this subconscious area of you is operating your mind. It's right beneath your awareness. It's right there, beating, longing for you. You're going to be experiencing sensations as you start to move in this practice, as you start to move with this truth into your world. You will be triggered, but just feel that it is God knocking on your door, the door of your heart, and open it. So you realize that the conscious mind has very much a powerful place in all of this. It's going to receive everything in your world from all the physical senses. It's going to take everything of your ideas and bring them into form. And it can impress upon the subconscious. So you just know that you're in a safe place. You're going to allow yourself to be directed to truth, to love, to be empowered. So in creating a world that works for all, the author speaks of the limiting thoughts, and I don't know if Reverend David had the opportunity to share this, but you think about it. Our limiting thoughts have been with us so long, they've become our sacred cows. You heard that? Sacred cows. And as cows do in India, they block the traffic. So feel that inside yourself. These ideas, what kind of sacred cows are you holding on to? It's a belief system that you took ownership of. Has it become a sacred cow that is blocking something greater, something truer? I just ask you and invite you to take your blinders off. To know the scriptures of truth, to go back to the holy text, to lift them up and to have the readings come out into your heart and awaken you to your true self. To your true self. Join with me in a prayer of the heart. Feel that? Pulsing, presence. We'll linger here a moment more. This is love. My love, your love, our love, the one love. Feel that as you breathe that in, and feel the walls of your heart and your being. The small self steps aside, and this amazing Atman, large self, emerges, empowers you, sees through you. It is your witness. It is your silence. It is your truth. It is you. It's never gone anywhere. Feel that. Begin your prayer there, in the presence of the One. Your connection to the One is you. God is, I am. And in this moment of time, we accept the privilege of thought, this great and powerful intelligence flowing through us, as us, demonstrating out into our world a greater good for all, touching all suffering and bringing ease and peace and grace and truth and comfort, touching all malice and angry thought and letting it go, transforming it by the power of love. Letting love be the force, be the power like the electrical current, like the power of the water. And we focus so clearly on love itself that it moves and displaces all other ways of being. So only love prevails. Feel that in your world from this moment forward. Let all truth reign supreme in your heart. May your journey from this moment forward be one that walks in love, in truth, in tender forgiveness, and lets nothing hold residence in the memory banks of your world. Be at peace, be in love, be in truth. I release these words, knowing that you, each one here, are the disciples of a greater truth, a greater power. God inspired you to be here today, to leave in love and to hold this love and to be the ambassador of this love. I give thanks for this truth. I recognize that we move now with the Spirit of the One dwelling within each one of us. We stand in that truth, we claim it, and we're grateful. Thank you, God. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you.